front of 7,000 people last Saturday night. Wayne Hills wins it 21-9. Second quarter, trailing 12-0. Wayne Hills goes ahead for good. Quarterback Mark Robinson, 25 yards to Todd Greenberg, 7-3. Just before the half, Robinson, who threw for 97 yards, called his own number. He bootlegged in from 6 yards out, 14-3 at the break. Early fourth quarter, Ramapo would make a run. Chris Sims to Nick Gallo on the wide receiver screen. Play covers 49 yards. Ramapo threw for just 83 on this night. The two-point try, no good. 14-9 Wayne Hills. The ensuing drive, biggest one of the game, because Wayne Hills and A.J. Spicer and company would go 70 yards in 11 plays. Spicer going in from a yard out with 4:13 left. 114 on the night for A.J.
We worked hard. This was a game, in all season, we knew this was the game we had to get. All the Pans, the Ramapos, to be a good team, we got to beat them and come out strong. That's what we did.
The game pretty much shook down like we wanted it to. I thought our lines were a little physical. I think we wore on them. I told our kids the longer we could stay in the game, the better our chances were going to be.
A year ago, Ramapo crushed the Patriots to knock them out of our MSG Daily News Tri-State Top 10. Well, turnabout is fair play. Wayne Hills knocking Ramapo out of this week's MSG Daily News Tri-State Top 10. There's your top 5. Bergen Catholic, St. Joe's, Plainfield, Morristown up 2 spots, and Poly Prep. 6 through 10, there's number 8, Wayne Hills, comes flying on, and they have a big game this week in the first round of the playoffs against Old Tapan. Here's our taxi squad, where Ramapo's the top team on the taxi. Neptune, Canarsie, Immaculata, Lehman, Trumbull, Monroe, Woodbury, Freeport, Hunterdon Central, and St. Anthony. We're back to do some coaching today to make sure they didn't let down after the big Ramapo win a week ago. That's Tom Lyons, school record 43-yard field goal in the second quarter. Wayne Hills 3-0. 26 seconds left in the half. A.J. Spicer caps the 48-yard drive with the 1-yarder. And then in the fourth, A.J. with the Spicer. 30-yard touchdown at 112 on the day, and what a defensive job by Wayne Hills.
Our defense has just done a great job all year. Facing back like Plaza or Dennis, tall quarterbacks like Sims and Tommy Guy. We're doing a great job, and I'm lost for words when it comes to our defense.
It may be the oldest football cliche in the book, but it's true. Defense wins championships. Number 8, Wayne Hills, had better bring theirs this week against 10th-ranked Lenape Valley, and they know it.
It's a challenge for defense. From what I've heard, they have a good offense, Delaware Wing kid, and they run it to perfection. So it'll be a challenge for our defense and for our offense to come back after 17-0 victory. We have to, get back and try to play.
Wayne Hills has already knocked off high-powered Ramapo this season, which means they're capable of beating anybody. Now just 2 games away from a state championship, it's all about focus.
There's a lot of unity. We got 10 out of 11 starters on defense are seniors, so we've been playing together for 4 years, and we feed off of each other.
Well, we hope we have 3 weeks. We know we've got this week for sure. We're playing a very good Lenape Valley team. The playoffs are nothing new to them. They've got 5 or 6 state championships under their belt already. They run their offense as good as anybody runs the Delaware, and they've got size to go with it. And, we expect a really difficult game.
And we can expect a really good game in Wayne. John Marks, News 12, New Jersey.
Also, Wayne Hills, 21-14. They lose their quarterback. A.J. Spicer plows in overtime. Mark Robinson should be back. Man, what a year for Chris Olson. Wild year. Chris Olson's not here, then he's back. Uncle Ray, the Victor Ramapo, everything. And finally tonight, as football heads into Thanksgiving Day, for everyone, for the select few teams, it means the end of the road for your high school football career. Too many times I'm guilty of putting emphasis on the winners and the big-name players. But this one goes out to all those seniors out there who put the pads on. It's a tough time for their coaches, the realization that these players move on. Young men who have been in the program day in, day out, week in, week out, double sessions, summer practices, hitting the sled, running drills, just committed to one thing, being part of the team, the football team. It's always a strange moment when the final whistle sounds on your last football game. There will be tears, hugs, smiles, pictures, the whole works. So as you take the field this week, whether you play or not, if your coach lets you suit up, it means you earn the right. Take a good look around and enjoy it. It's a slice of life that can never be equal. You only play high school football once. Jimmy C. in the hot seat for Judgment Week in football. It's now or never.
Hoboken has been shut down city in 98. 6 shutouts. Everybody to the ball on this squad. When you're taking on Hoboken, you're taking on a classic powerhouse, the Hudson County champions. Who better to take them on, though, than one of the best stories in New Jersey, Wayne Hills. The Patriots have let everybody know that they can run with the elite in 98. Chris Olsen's crew, undefeated, just terrorizing their way through every single offense. Run the ball inside, the Patriots are there. Bounce it outside, and here comes the whole slew of Wayne Hills guys to the rescue. And when they get the ball on offense, it's Mr. Robinson's neighborhood. Mark Robinson has taken the bull by the horns. He can run it, he can pass it too. But the go-to guy, A.J. Spicer, pound for pound, he is on the list of the best backs around. For Wayne Hills, the time is now.
Hoboken and Wayne Hills, and it all comes down to this. We thought it might be the rematch, Mike, of Wayne Hills, of Ramapo and Hoboken. Maybe some people hope for that, but not the case. Ramapo gets knocked off, of course, as we saw for Hoboken. Well, we did see the rematch, but it was in the semifinals. Yeah. Now you got Wayne Hills. I'm calling Wayne Hills maybe one of the bigger stories here in North Jersey. You know, they kind of lived in the shadows for all these years of Chris Sims and the boys, but Chris Olsen's club has put together a year this year, starting with the victory over Ramapo. Then they lose their quarterback in semis, find a way. This team's on a roll.
Heck, talk about losing your quarterback. You lost your coach. You didn't have him for the first 5 years. I mean, but you have the idea that Chris was probably doing something in the background, making sure this whole thing came together. And their D-Day, obviously, was Ramapo that night. 21-9, they take them apart. Ramapo comes down early. If they punch it in, maybe it's a different game. But Wayne Hills, the Patriots, big, strong, fast. Spicer just having a year. Let me tell you, I may have overlooked them a little bit because I thought with Milan gone, that they offensively wouldn't be able to do what they did. Spicer just stepped in, and Robinson now with some senior leadership. I mean, this is a tough game.
They've been to the postseason, 7 appearances in 8 years, never won the state title. They're right on the verge right there, but you know what? It's not going to be easy. I mean, one thing I said to you guys after we did that Ramapo Hoboken game was, you know what? Ramapo should almost feel good about themselves that they were able to go up against a team like Hoboken. 3 tries, they got 1 victory. Now, I don't know if you're a Ramapo guy, you say, hey, come on, we should have one more. But this Hoboken team, man, when you look at a team, what Ed Stinson has done, the last 50 games, 49 victories, okay, looking for his 4th state title in 5 years. This guy is an institution out there, is he not?
And the one loss was to Ramapo in a game that went into overtime, and what Mike Miller said was one of the greatest teams he's ever coached. So, I know people in Hoboken felt they could have won that game. So, you're right, he's done a great job down there, and people take him for granted in Hudson County. But, the mark of every good coach is the kind of athlete, kind of players he puts on to the next level. And
just a little more about Hoboken, Wayne Hills here, Mike. Mike, when you look at Wayne Hills right here, and A.J. Spicer and Mark Robinson, they have been the guys. But when you really take it inside the numbers, they have pushed people around this year. It all starts with their offensive line and defensive line. They have out-physical people this year.
They're big, they're strong, they move well. And again, it goes back, and we use the Ramapo as a barometer. They beat them up front. Chris Sims, 4 of 18, and of the 18 passes, he was getting hit practically every time he threw the football. Then Spicer, they open the holes for AJ. He just needs a little bit, and then he's gone. That's it. You win up front, and that's why this game is going to be so good, because you have 2 big units up front. Look at all the time Robinson has right there across the middle. So, hey, man, you talk about it on all levels. Doesn't matter if it's Pop Warner, high school, college, or pro. You win up front. That's what the Patriots do.
Anthony, I think Coach Chris Olsen and Wayne Hills will probably be a little concerned how his team will react in such a big game, the final game at Giant Stadium. On the other hand, I think Ed Stinson might be a little more comfortable with Hoboken, because this team, let's face it, they live in the big game. They play in every big game. They've been in the state final the last 4 years in a row. When they get in the weight room in January, they're thinking about playing this game. Do you think that they will be a little less unfazed by Giant Stadium environment?
No question, but that only lasts for a little while. After that, the athletes take over. And the fact that, Wayne Hills has some big guys up front, that could cause some problems for Hoboken. Because Hoboken is a team that physically isn't that big, but they're quick. But the best thing about Hoboken is they're well coached, and 16 yards total offense in the first half for Sims and Toll. That says a lot. I mean, not too many teams in Bergen County could ever say they did that.
here's the MSG Daily News poll. Mike Quigley just mentioned, there's BC right at the top. St. Joe's Montvale, number 2. That will be decided. You know without saying, folks, St. Joe's wins the game, they will be number 1. Plainfield, Morristown, look at the conglomerate of New Jersey teams. Darien just
How'd
snuck
that
in there.
Connecticut team get in there?
Hoboken at number 6. Wayne Hills right there at 7. Nice job by the Patriots at 7.
In some cases, though, not only are they getting ready for an opponent, but they're getting ready for a surface, too. AstroTurf. Wayne Hills, for instance. The Patriots have been working out at Montclair State, getting ready for the Rush, Giant Stadium. Wayne Hills will play Hoboken. But the Patriots, in part, credit a team in Franklin Lakes for their success this year.
We knew we were good, and the Ramapo game was a big game for us. We needed to show that we were a better than average team, and we did that, and our confidence just grew game after game after that.
You know, beginning of the year, too, I was a little unsure, where we'd be now. But, we had a great bunch of seniors. A couple of juniors who chipped in very well. And, here we are.
Well, I don't think the turf is going to present a problem. I think his team can present a problem. I don't think it really makes a big difference, where we play them as far as on turf, not on turf. The fact that they play on AstroTurf, I don't think really bothers us any. We got to go out there and play. The AstroTurf, if that's our only problem, we're going to be in good shape.
This is one of the more anticipated showdowns of the weekend. They will get the Saturday night stage to themselves. A 7:30 kick at the Meadowlands. 2 undefeated schools. That first loss is going to be a tough one for one of these teams.
It was our number 6 Hoboken team cashing in on 2 big turnovers by number 7 Wayne Hills and taking advantage, winning it 14-7. It was for the Section 1 Group 3 championship, and in the first half, the only score of the half, Mark Robinson's pass picked off by Hoboken's Carlos Perez. And there he goes, 52 yards for the touchdown as the Red Wings were up 7-0. That play stood until the first play of the fourth quarter. Mike Forkum punts it away for Hoboken. Deep in Wayne Hills territory. It's not handled. Tyrell Dortch picks it up, but you cannot return a muff punt for a touchdown. Dortch says, you're not going to keep me out of the end zone, though. 6 plays later, he's in from 2 yards out, 14-0. Stayed that way until 5:29 left. Back comes Robinson to his main man, Matt Hawkins. That's an 11-yard touchdown. But Hoboken and Ed Stinson able to hang on, winning their last 50 of 51.
For those people that think it was ineffective offense on the part of both teams, they really have an untrained eye. It was great defense by both schools. There was a limited amount of drives. Certainly that happened because both teams not only played hard, played well, and played good scheme against each other. The execution of a concept happened on both sides of the ball, and consequently, it was a very low-scoring game.
At the end, it didn't fall our way. And, hey, I agree with the Hoboken's assessment of us. I think we're an outstanding team. I think, we came in here ranked 7th in the state. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we might be the only team that's played 3 top 10 teams. We beat the 3 team, we beat the 10 team, we lost to the 5 team, who's probably going to wind up the 2 team. So I feel real good about our kids. I feel bad, for them, not so much that they lost, but the fact that this team is going to split up. There's a lot of closeness. These kids have overcome a lot. Everything we've asked them to do, like hang in there, stay focused for the first 5 games, come back. I love these kids. I'm not disappointed at all.
The biggest playoff upset of the weekend in New Jersey involved our number 3 Plainfield team. The Cardinals losing
January, get the kids in the SATs, make sure they have the core courses, and then move on to the various phases of our football program. But please let us enjoy it at least for the weekend.
Well, that's what we wanted to hear. That's what championships are all about. Coach Stinson, congratulations on a fine effort, and enjoy the championship. We look forward to seeing you back here again next year.
Thank you.
Standing bang is Brian Baldinger with a couple of heroes on this evening's contest.
A couple guys that want to celebrate this victory in undefeated season. Carlos Perez, Tyrell Dortch. First with you, Carlos. You got him on the board first with that interception. You look like a heck of a tailback after you made that interception.
Well, I just dropped him back to my coverage, and it was just like forcing to on the ball for me because I played split end, and I just caught the ball, and instinct took over, and I just smelled the end zone, and I had to get there. That was the best feeling I ever felt in my life.
Do you think he saw you, Carlos? It looked like he was looking behind you and never saw you.
I don't even think he seen me because I was right there. I don't think he seen me. I was in his face. I don't know.
Coach talked about this was a defensive struggle today, Carlos, and then you also had a big sack on the quarterback, Robinson, as well later on.
Well, like Coach said, offense wins games, the defense wins championship. When John Stadium over here, this is the biggest championship, and we One, and oh gosh, the sack is just, I don't know, I was playing hard, because I always play hard.
Another guy that was playing hard was tailback and defensive back Terrell Dortch. And Terrell kind of struggled a little bit on offense today, so you went to the hustling game. You made the recovery on the muff punt, and then you picked it up. Did you think that you scored a touchdown? Did you understand the rule there?
Yeah, I thought I scored a touchdown, but I knew the rule, but situations like that, you want a touchdown better than the rule, and I just go by the rule, and we just took it in there after that.
Well, they kind of really bottled you up on offense. You had 15 rushes today, 61 yards. What were they doing defensively that kind of kept you guys frustrated a little bit?
I don't know what they were doing. I think they snuck a magnet on me or something, because it was on me like white on rice, and that's a great defense. That's a great defense you got in there.
Well, after the punt, you had 10 yards of field to go in order to score the touchdown. 2 shots down there on the goal line. Finally, they gave you the ball.
Yeah. We was giving the ball to the horse, Anthony. That's what he shot off for. And they were stopping him too, so I looked at the coach, and he looked at me, so he just happened to give me the rock. And I saw like a hole, so I just rolled right through it, and I scored.
Terrell, undefeated season. 12-0. Now, you're only a junior. What's it feel like?
It was great. It's the best time I've ever had. I hope I'll be playing here someday in college or NFL somewhere, but it's the best time I've ever had. We're the first team in history to go 12-0, and I hope we go down the best team we've ever had.
Congratulations on a great game, Terrell. Terrell Dortch, Carlos Perez, 2 guys highly responsible, scored touchdowns today, leading Hoboken to a 14-7 victory over Wayne Hills.
But Brian, it's great to have an opportunity to share the enthusiasm of these young players, but you know, you've got to take your hat off to Wayne Hills, the Patriots. They certainly launched an impressive drive there towards the end of the game, and I think they gave the Red Wings a bit of a scare.
Well, I think they gave more than a scare. I mean, this game came down to the wire. Wayne Hills with an opportunity to come down there 14-7 and put more points on the board. But, you know, like Coach Stinson said, this was a defensive struggle. If you like defense, you like this football game. From where I was standing and talking about this game, I loved every minute of it.
Well, this closes off a great weekend of high school championship football here at Giant Stadium. Once again, congratulations to the Red Wings of Hoboken, a 14-7 winner over the Wayne Hills Patriots. For Brian Baldinger, this is Florian Kemp. Thanks very much for watching championship football on CN8. Happy holidays, everyone.
3, Wayne Hills and Hoboken know about this game. Wayne Hills with a fantastic season, 11-0, back in the finals, but now in Group 3. The 98 Patriots, big, tough, strong, smash mouth football, old school football, serious guy. Chris Olsen's club has answered every question, including a couple from me, in 1998. They were taking on Hoboken in this Group 3 final for the 5th consecutive year. They had won it 3 times. Their coach, Ed Stinson, and his staff just put together a program. Man, it's a system. 12 months a year, churning it in and out. You heard me mention last week, this is a team that has won 49 of the last 50 ball games. Now, you know, folks, as this game started, it was clear the 2 best teams were going for the crown. It was the last game on Saturday night. And you know, on the big fight cards, the heavyweights always come out last. Back to go for Saturday night. 7:30 at Giant Stadium in the Meadowlands. Here they go, baby. They packed them in for this one. Great job once again. 14,000 there to see it. First quarter, that's the Hoboken QB, Mike Forkham, looking. Ball knocked around. Look at A.J. Spicer. Nice defensive play right there. Picks it off right there. Yes, Mark Robinson. There's the coach, Chris Olsen, right there. A.J. Spicer then. Nice run inside. Banging bodies against the tough Hoboken defense. Would not produce on this possession, so we go to the second quarter. Yeah, full shot right there. Wayne Hills now at a 3rd and 10 from around 45. Mark Robinson. He gets picked off, but it just starts here. Carlos Perez. Look at this guy go. Breaking tackles. Good blocks downfield by Hoboken. Into the end zone he would go. Hoboken leads this game 7-0 off the first big mistake. Then Wayne Hills D tries to put the clamps on him. Running game, Bobby Jones is racked up by Mike Blanchard and Tom Brophy. Just before the half, Mark Robinson looking, seconds to go, lays one out for Matty Hawkins. Matty Hawkins, spectacular, goes up and gets it. Only the clock would read 000, time would run out. Yes, fellas, but Wayne Hills right in it, 7-0. Third quarter, Hoboken threatening again. Forkham looking, hits that man again. Carlos Perez takes it down to the Hills 15-yard line. Now on 4th down and 4. Forkham goes to the air, but look at A.J. Boy, A.J. going up there to knock it down. End of threat. Costly mistake here by Wayne Hills, though. Forkham with the punt. It's going to be muffed down below. The ball comes loose, picked up by Tyrell Dortch. He'll set it back at the 10 on the muff. this meant trouble. But Wayne Hill's defense, so much pride. Look at these guys. Anthony Enrique, nobody has stopped Anthony Enrique inside 5 yards this year, but Wayne Hill stood for a couple plays. But 2 plays later, Dortch would go the right side and get in there, and Hoboken was up 14-0. Wayne Hill takes over on the next possession. Patriots finally get things in motion. Robinson, looking right, hits Tommy Lyons out in the flats. Lyons moves it upfield. A couple plays later, Robinson lays one out for Tom Lyons again, but Zach Walker, the big right hand, saves the touchdown right there. That was big. Then Robinson back to the air again to Mike Togley. Mike catches it, rolls forward, gets Hills a little bit closer. Robinson back to the air again, looking for Tommy Lyons again. Pass interference is called on Hoboken. A couple plays later, Robinson looking, rolls out. What a year for Mark Robinson. Finds right there Matty Hawkins in the end zone, and Wayne Hills is on the board. 14-7, still time left in this ball game. There it is right there in Giant Stadium. Now only minutes remaining. Wayne Hills, 3rd down for Hoboken. Here comes the Wayne Hills D to crush crew. These guys were laying some lumber all night long. Wayne Hills appears to be on the comeback trail. Mark Robinson, a little middle screen to Matty Hawkins. Matty Hawkins gets across midfield. Here come the Patriots. Robinson looks again for Hawkins. Hawkins comes up with it just out of bounds right there. Oh, that would have been a big one. Wayne Hills down to their last gasp. Robinson looking, looks for Hawkins once again. Not going to happen this time. Ball gets bounced around, and miraculously Hoboken comes up with it. Here's the signal right there, and that would do it. Wayne Hills really came in and gave it everything, just a little short.
Good. It came down to turnovers, you know. 2 good teams going head-to-head. You can't have the turnovers. I thought it was a great game. I mean, it's a shame we came out on the losing end.
It's probably the most physical game I ever played in. I mean, games are won in the trenches, and I mean, it was a lot of fun playing so physical. I mean, we were just beating each other up in there. It was great. It's been an unbelievable senior season. The senior leadership on this team is just unbelievable. We've got some of the greatest seniors. The greatest team I've ever played with. I can't put it into words how great they are.
I feel bad, you know, for them, not so much that they lost, but the fact that this team is going to split up. There's a lot of closeness. These kids have overcome a lot. You know, everything we've asked them to do, like hang in there, stay focused for the first 5 games, come back, be ready. You know, I love these kids. You know, I'm not disappointed at all.
If you walked away from this football game and you thought there was ineffective offense, then you don't know what you're looking at. There was great defense played out here by 2 teams that played with tremendous intensity, have great skill on defense, and played a scheme. They certainly had a great scheme against our offense, as we did against their offense, and the net result was an awful lot of punts by both teams.
Yes, that's Stinson right there with lots of mutual respect. First thing that jumps out to me, I know the whole Hoboken program pretty well. After the game, their coaches came down out of the box. I know those guys. They said that is the best defense we have seen all year, the best defense we have seen in a long time. That was a very evenly matched game, a game that where they just slugged it out on defense. The team that caught a couple breaks was going to win that game. Hoboken able to catch a couple breaks. For Wayne Hills, what an outstanding year they had. Even in defeat, Wayne Hills truly left their mark on the Giant Stadium turf, and the fans really appreciate it, and the media around Wayne Hills came to play on